Alright, a MrBeast shoutout will ruin your channel.
In just 32 seconds, MrBeast completely destroyed the channels of 3 YouTubers. At the end of his 2020 Rewind video, MrBeast shouted out 3 small channels: Amelia and Breedy, Soy and Osmond, and Nalter Deeds. Each channel instantly gained over 150,000 subscribers, and with it, little hope of their channels ever succeeding on YouTube. On paper, a MrBeast shoutout sounds like a rocket ship to success, but in reality, it's nearly impossible to succeed afterwards. The first channel that MrBeast was shouting out, Amelia and Breedy, was uploading lifestyle content.
Well, I mean, that makes sense, because it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody that would normally watch MrBeast, they wouldn't really watch, like, this type of content, because it's, like, it's completely different. I mean, it's understandable, but, yeah, let's keep watching, though, because I don't know. There could be something I'm missing.
Like Christmas DIYs and thrifting vlogs. A very wholesome channel, but also the complete opposite of what MrBeast posts. After the shoutout, Amelia and Breedy uploaded this video titled MrBeast Gave Us a Shoutout. Since 99.8% of their audience came from MrBeast, the video performed quite well, quickly becoming their most viewed video ever with 668,000 views. But these views would last shorter than Chandler competing in a MrBeast video. Their next upload, a fun vlog about Amelia's baby shower, tanked, only pulling 12,000 views, or 2% of their MrBeast thank you video. They followed that up with a Zoom call video with the other 2 winners, tripling the view count of the baby shower video because it was something the new audience understood and cared about. However, in the long term, Amelia and Breedy continued uploading the same content they always had been, despite their entire new audience not caring for this type of content at all. The average viewer for a MrBeast video is probably an 8 to 12-year-old boy who likes video games. On the other hand, the average viewer for an Amelia and Breedy video is probably a 16 to 25-year-old woman who enjoys clothes and home decorating. Predictably, just 2 months after the upload, Amelia and Breedy were struggling to pull 3,000 views a video despite having over 150,000 subscribers. Eventually, not even a year after the shoutout, Amelia and Breedy would quit their channel altogether, stating
they subscribed because MrBeast told them to.
Meanwhile, the second person who was shouted out, Soy and Osmond, was also experiencing a similar channel failure. His initial video reacting to the MrBeast shoutout grossed almost 1 million views, but afterwards he would struggle to crack 10,000 views on any non-MrBeast related upload. Just like Amelia and Breedy, Soy would continue to upload the same content as pre-shoutout, mostly surrounding the music industry. But everyone who came from Beast wanted Beast-type content, not music content. Again, just a year after the shoutout, Soy and Osmond would cease uploading on his channel forever.
Alright, now don't get me wrong. I get that, like, most of his, like, subscribers and viewers are from MrBeast and whatnot, and I understand why his views, of course, tanked whenever he uploaded things that didn't include MrBeast. But at the same time, I would keep posting. I'm not gonna lie, because you could still easily recover from that. I feel like, as long as, like, you know, like, you go back to, like, being consistent and you keep on posting what you want to post, you can still end up building a following, and you can get a lot of views without, you know, having to talk about MrBeast. But that's just me, honestly. I wouldn't really quit.
The third channel shouted out was Nalter Deeds, who adapted this shoutout better than the other 2. I hopped on a call with him to get his take on this incredibly unique situation. What was your immediate reaction right after the shoutout?
My first thought was just like, this is an opportunity, even if this wasn't in my plans like literally 3 hours ago. I wasn't actively trying to be a YouTuber. It was more so I had a channel that I'd had for over 10 years. That's right when the shoutout happened, and so it was just like, all right, I don't know where to go from here.
Did you feel boxed in at all from the Beast shoutout to continue making content similar to Beast?
Early on, I certainly did. One of the early videos I did was I delivered MrBeast burgers for a day, but there's only so many of that video that, like, you can make. I did feel boxed in, and then as, you know, these months and years have passed by, I've kind of realized it was what it was, and not to focus on it and try and get those people back, just like focus on what I'm doing and move forward.
So when you were uploading a new video that didn't have anything to do with Beast, what was the reception like?
I think I had a couple that 50 to 60,000 views, and then as the weeks went on and I started doing other things, even it's still somewhat in line with the MrBeast stuff, you know, the views would come down towards like 15,000, 10,000. At one point I posted a video like not that long after the shout out and it got 700 views. I would say at the time it was defeating. Looking back now with some time behind me, I think it's all just a bunch of life lessons and also content lessons, like what it means to actually make content and build up your own audience.
It feels like the shout out was almost like an obstacle you had to overcome rather than a helpful tool to gain an audience.
It was an obstacle when viewing it in the wrong light. If that shout out never happened, I would probably still be working at the job that I had before. That was the kick in the pants of kind of being like, all right, sign from above. The shout out was not a bad thing. It was only bad if the expectation was that all of those subscribers were going to translate into views. It's never that everyone is going to continue to watch unless I was going to try and pursue the same style of content. Long term, it was a absolutely good thing. It's only valuable if the people that you're sending like the content, the person, like all of it.
If you could go back to January 1st, 2021, would you still want to be shouted out by Beast?
I think knowing what I know now, absolutely.
Having a MrBeast shout out brings in a mass audience who wants one thing: more content like MrBeast. MrBeast's audience was never going to become long-term fans of family or music type content, and these three channels were doomed the instant they were mentioned in a MrBeast video. Which leads to the question, would a MrBeast shout out be helpful for someone who is posting viral challenge type content like the man himself? In 2020, just before the rewind shoutouts, MrBeast posted a video in which 4 YouTubers, Zealous, Isaiah Photo, Unnecessary Inventions, and Pretty Bored, competed in a video to win a 1 million subscriber shoutout. At the time, all of these channels had between 50 and 70,000 subscribers. And that's the #1 difference between these YouTubers and the 3 that received shoutouts in the rewind. These 4 channels were all actively trying to become mainstream creators and were already very knowledgeable about YouTube. Zealous ended up winning the challenge, was shouted out in the video, and gained over 2 million subscribers in just a week. His following videos referencing the challenge and MrBeast racked up an impressive 11 million and 6.3 million views. Pre-shoutout, Zealous's content was somewhat similar to MrBeast, and after the shoutout, he adapted the content to perfectly fit the needs of a MrBeast subscriber. Afterwards, he was consistently pulling 1 million views a video, even months and years after the shoutout. And of course, whenever he posted a video related to MrBeast, these videos would outperform compared to the peers. There's 2 main differences between Zealous and the 2020 Rewind winners. First, Zealous makes Beast type content and the 2020 winners do not. Second, Zealous understood the basics of YouTube while the others were kind of just thrust into the limelight with little experience on YouTube and going viral before. We can make the assumption that when receiving a shout out from a bigger creator, the shout out is only valuable if that creator makes similar content to yours. The number of people who actually come in that care about your niche content is extremely low. As more eyes come in, CTR or click-through rate plummets because the new audience isn't interested in the video and therefore are not clicking it. And when your initial audience isn't clicking the video, YouTube sees no reason to promote it to more people and your growth dies instantly. And because Zealous was posting Beast-like content, he was able to actually gain views from this new audience. Hence, Zealous is the only MrBeast shoutout recipient who succeeded. But how about the other 3 YouTubers who failed to get the shoutout? Surely their careers died instantly, right? Not the case at all. Unnecessary Inventions has 4.6 million subscribers, Pretty Bored has 1.3 million, and arguably the most successful of them all, Isaiah Photo, has cracked 10 million subscribers. And this instantly leads to the question, would they have still been as successful if they did receive the shout out from MrBeast. So I met up with Isaiah Photo to find out. What was your initial reaction to losing 1 million subscribers?
It wasn't until I got home that I started to realize, like, holy crap, that is catastrophic. Like, what I literally just lost a MrBeast challenge. I was pretty upset, honestly. Like, when I got home, it was like, holy crap, what are we gonna do? This sucks.
It seemed like your golden ticket to instant success.
That was like, surefire, you will be a successful YouTuber right now.
If you win that video, you feel guaranteed to make it on YouTube.
Yes, 100%.
You lost the video, you lost 1 million subscribers, but 3 years later, you're the most subscribed to over any of the 4 of you in that video. So you really didn't need it to win YouTube.
But yeah, I guess turns out you didn't need to win the competition to get 1 million subs. But honestly, it's like not that surprising. I think everybody that was there had already been working on YouTube, already had a channel, like maybe 50K subs or more, and was pursuing a career on YouTube.
The initial audience has to be interested in the content or else it'll never get served, because if your initial audience isn't watching it, YouTube will never think anyone outside your initial audience will watch it. Why do you think Zealous has succeeded from the shout out while everyone else who's been shouted out at some point has failed?
He did start to format his videos in a very specific way to hopefully like make that crossover, that bridge of like, I know you came from MrBeast, but I want you to watch me now. And so maybe it's similar to MrBeast, but sort of starting to carve his own path.
So a hypothetical here, do you think you're better off now than if you had received that shout out?
Yeah, 100%, yeah. I didn't have a plan for if you win. It was like, what do you do next? I would have been at that time prone to messing it up. People want to blow up tomorrow. They want to get 1 million subscribers tomorrow, but it's way more valuable to have that slow growth. Honestly, it's a slow growth mutual fund, baby. You're just investing in the future in 10 years and 20 years and 30 years.
To continue the analogy, it's almost like you win the lottery with Beast and blow it all because you don't know anything about money management or something.
It is. That's a perfect analogy.
There's a lot of kids, new creators.
Nah, I mean, that is true, though. Yeah, I mean, it's just like they said, like, because if you start from the bottom and then you just start working your way up, like, you can easily become, like, more knowledgeable about, like, YouTube, how it works, and, like, the things that you can do to get more views and subscribers. Honestly, like, I would much rather work from the ground up myself. I mean, a shout-out would be cool, but honestly, it doesn't really bother me that I'm pretty much starting from zero.
Out there who would probably love more than anything a Beast shout out. What's your advice to those kids who might aspire for that?
I actually have a pretty good example of this. When I first started my channel, I was collaborating with another gentleman, but he made Arabic content. So most of his subscribers spoke Arabic, and he spoke Arabic in his videos, and he would shout my channel out. My retention graphs went from like pretty decent at the beginning to just severe drop off, because I'm an English speaking individual. It's not gonna be useful for you to just get a shout out from somebody. Honestly, I think the most valuable thing you can do for yourself is to surround yourself with other people who are like-minded that also are interested in creating videos, and start just diving deep in your analytics. Figure out what works, keep doing it. Figure out what doesn't work,
That's
get
facts.
rid of it, and just keep posting.
Let's go, baby. Good stuff.
Too easy, come on.
So the shoutouts we've talked about now are all from a few years ago, but what does a 2024 MrBeast shoutout look like? MrBeast recently posted, "Survive 100 days trapped, win $500,000. Within a week, the video garnered over 100 million views. In the video, 2 contestants, Susie and Bailey, stay in the room together for 100 days and end up walking away with $185,000 each. As soon as MrBeast's video was released, Susie and Bailey started instantly uploading content on their own channels about their appearance in the video. On Susie's channel, she's uploaded 3 videos about the topic, garnering over 10 million views and gaining over 250,000 subscribers. In the first video, she explains how she gave away some of this money in a MrBeast giveaway style type of video. The second is a reaction video to the actual 100 Days Trap video. And finally, the third is just her and the other contestant, Bailey, answering questions that people might have about the video. Bailey has had slightly less success, posting 2 different videos which have garnered 1 million views and gained him 50,000 subscribers. His first video is him reacting to the MrBeast video, and his second is Fortnite gameplay with the 100 Days Trap branding behind it. The interesting thing here is that 60% of their uploads are reaction and Q&A videos, 2 styles which rarely pull views at the beginning of a creator's career. But by having an introduction to 230 million people, someone who watched the original video was bound to care. And in this case, millions did. And thus, from two channels that were practically at zero, they carved out large audiences by maximizing the Beast hype from the original video. But what happens when the hype inevitably dies? People are watching and subscribing to Bailey and Susie for one reason. They were featured in a MrBeast video. With 100 days being trimmed down to just 27 minutes, people are hungry for behind the scenes content, which only Susie, Bailey, and MrBeast can provide, making supply low and demand high. And I do have to give them props. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Susie and Bailey have capitalized on being in a position that few ever are. The 10 million views Susie has received is worth about $50,000 in AdSense on top of the $185,000 she already made from Beast. However, Susie and Bailey are now locked into making content surrounding Beast if they ever want to continue this career as YouTubers. And of course, this could mean hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views if done correctly. But by capitalizing on their initial fame, they inadvertently backed themselves into a corner in which any pivoted content would almost certainly spell doom.
Alright, let me know what you guys think.